What is up, mortals? It's the Nacho Fox here, and if we're being totally honest, 2018 was pretty pants for gaming. Fortnite obviously rose to the top spot. No real complaints here, it's a fun game, with Moonlighter taking my personal top spot for indie games. But especially when looking at AAA titles, we were left a bit lacking. Fallout 76 was underwhelming to say the least. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 gave us false hope of something new before spewing out more of the same rubbish. Pokemon failed to add to its core games, instead releasing a £60 version of Pokemon Go that you can play from your bedroom, and Sea of Thieves had so much potential but was released unfinished. It's been a long year, but the only standout AAA titles that come to mind are Red Dead Redemption and God of War, neither of which made it to PC, with God of War being a PlayStation exclusive. And to make matters worse, Borderlands 3 was still not announced, after years of anticipation. So, to drown these sorrows, and aside from my pints of whiskey I have here on my desk, we're going to take a look at some of my most anticipated games coming in 2019. I'll kick things off with a pretty obvious one, and I think it's obvious because most gamers have heard about this game by now, and to say it's highly anticipated would definitely be an understatement. Cyberpunk 2077. For those that don't know, Cyberpunk is a futuristic open-world game by the makers of the incredible Witcher 3, CD Projekt Red. It's not officially slated for 2019, however, after it was quite surprisingly sprung upon us, a lot of extensive gameplay has since been released, which would suggest that the game is not too far away. And I would guess that it could be seen around November time, certainly before 2020. It will be released on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Next, we'll hop over to a personal guilty pleasure of mine, Pokemon. We don't know an awful lot about this game yet, other than that it will be a new addition to the core Pokemon titles, and that it will be the first core Pokemon game produced for the Nintendo Switch. The chances are that this next Pokemon game, whilst hopefully featuring slightly different gameplay mechanics to the Let's Go games, will likely see the same kind of graphics that were introduced in those titles. It's currently slated for a second half of 2019 release, and I wouldn't be too surprised if we started receiving a bit more information about this game very soon. Third, I'm going to go for a slightly obscure choice in Crackdown 3. Now, I wouldn't blame you for forgetting about this franchise completely, as Crackdown 3 was initially announced in 2014, with an initial release date of 2015. Following many delays, Crackdown 3 is now slotted in for an early 15th of February release date. And don't worry, thanks to its cartoonish graphics, the chances of it looking terrible for the times are a lot lower than we've seen in other titles following their long delays. Crackdown was one of the best Xbox 360 original titles, and hopefully its successor can recapture some of the charm it once had when it releases on Xbox One and PC next month. Next, we go to a game which is being branded a bit of a cross between Fallout and Borderlands. Borderlands because it's a comedic game set in a futuristic waste of a universe owned by corporations, and Fallout because, well, because it was made by the studio that brought us Fallout New Vegas. And hey, both have vaults, albeit containing slightly different things, so why not mash them together? Now, as much as I am still clinging on to the glimmer of hope that Borderlands 3 might still be released from a vault at some point in the near future, the early showings of The Outer World appear to show a humorous excursion into a similar setting. It's apparently a smaller experience than Fallout New Vegas, but will contain a choice storyline and character development that is dependent on your choices. It will be released on PS4, Xbox and PC, and the date is TBC 2019. Now, who among us played Halo? I'm guessing most people watching this video have played at least one of the titles, but if I had to take a guess, I'd say very few played Halo 5 Guardians, which was a bit of a letdown, truth be told. But with rumours of a single player release in holiday season 2019 and a multiplayer to follow in early 2020, Microsoft are attempting to reignite the franchise with Halo Infinite. The title brings back Master Chief and will be released on both Xbox One and PC, ending years of Xbox One exclusivity, and might mean that this game has plans for some kind of esport with the release of that multiplayer. If nothing else, you can guarantee a lot of Twitch gameplay with a PC release of this game, and it might even tempt the ex-Halo Pro Ninja to swap away from Fortnite. Another title releasing on both Xbox One and PC, which was traditionally an Xbox exclusive, is Gears of War 5. Now, while Gears of War 4 was somewhat predictable and lacking any real changes, Gears of War 5 will feature a female lead for the first time, although Marcus Phoenix will still appear in the game. It will also be far more colourful than we've been used to in previous iterations, and it will apparently feature the largest environments yet. The date of this release is again not confirmed, but the year is confirmed as 2019, so we will await this one with bated breath. I was a little apprehensive about adding a Star Wars title to this list, as so far I've been incredibly underwhelmed with all of the Star Wars games that have been released since Disney bought the brand. However, with Respawn Entertainment, the developers of Titanfall, making this next title, I'm a little bit more optimistic that it will be at least playable. Now, other than a very short glimpse at some motion capture during the EA Fluff piece, which is on screen now, there hasn't been much released about the Jedi Fallen Order, other than that it will take place immediately after the events of Revenge of the Sith, and it is due to be released in holiday 2019 to coincide with the release of Star Wars Episode 9. E3 will likely be our first look at this one, and the platforms, whilst to be determined, will likely be Xbox, PlayStation and PC. Right, let's change things up and go over to the Nintendo Switch. There is something to be said for solid Japanese RPGs, and Fire Emblem Three Houses is the next in line of the brilliant tactical role-playing franchise. It's a mix of anime cutscenes, free roaming and tactical combat, and is set to be a great starting game for those new to the genre, and will thrill veterans of the franchise in equal measure. This one is due spring 2019. Now, as much as Sea of Thieves has been much improved since initial release, first impressions matter, and it's struggling to regain an audience following an initially incomplete launch, which means that this next game could go one of two ways for Sea of Thieves. Either A, it will fill the pirate void in everyone's gaming hearts, and Sea of Thieves really will be left for dead. Or B, this game will not live up to the hype, but may convince seagoers to give Sea of Thieves a second chance. Coming to PS4, Xbox One and PC later this year, we will see Skull and Bones, which, fun fact, is a spin-off of the naval combat mechanics seen in Assassin's Creed Black Flag. It's definitely not another Assassin's Creed game, and we'll see you spend much more of your time on the ship. However, it does have role-playing elements and multiplayer, so we will have to see how this next Ubisoft title sails out. Before my final slot, I'm going to give a bonus shout out to Minecraft Dungeons. Releasing on PC, this game doesn't make the full list purely because it's yet to be determined how much of a new game this actually is. There's been plenty of mods and additions to Minecraft over the years, and this feels much more like an official one of those than it does a Minecraft 2, which it certainly isn't. Minecraft isn't everyone's cup of tea, but even now in January 2019, it is still the most popular game in the world from an active player standpoint, still beating Fortnite to the top spot. So regardless of how much a brand new game this is, or whether it ends up as more of an expansion, I'm sure it will see plenty of players. Now, as much as 2018 was not the best year for new games, 2019 is certainly shaping up to be much better, and so whilst my choice for the 10th and final spot is already quite contested, and I'll go over a few honourable mentions in a moment, as well as discuss some potential releases which have not yet been announced, I have to give this final slot to... That's right, I couldn't do a most anticipated games of 2019 without mentioning The Last of Us Part 2. Given the original title was dubbed by many media outlets as their favourite game of all time, it's safe to say that the standard has been set pretty high. This game joins back up with Ellie now that she's all grown up, and judging by the gameplay trailer, she appears to be facing some kind of cult. So we'll have to see how events unfold when this releases on PlayStation 4 later this year. Now, as I said previously, it looks like there are quite a few heavy-hitting games being released later this year, and there'll be plenty more which have not yet been announced, which will also enter the fray in 2019. However, I need to give a few honourable mentions to some games that will definitely be worth keeping an eye on this year. Spelunky 2 is coming out 10 years after the original hit our computer screens, featuring a new hero and some new gameplay mechanics. Kingdom Hearts 3 is also returning after a long hiatus, arriving more than 14 years after the last core entry. Doom Eternal, the follow-up to the 2016 Doom reboot, will see the gory run-and-gun shooter return in 2019. BioWare appear to be taking on Destiny with Anthem, a co-op sci-fi shooter where you'll be attempting to save humanity from people and monsters alike. Resident Evil 2 will be getting a full remake later this month, and Mortal Kombat 11 will be bringing some more fatalities to 2019. And that's it. They are my top games to look out for in 2019. Which ones are you looking forward to the most? And did I miss any that you think will be worth picking up? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate you giving me a few minutes of your day today. Please remember to give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to receive notifications about all of my latest releases. New videos guaranteed twice a week, sometimes a few bonus ones here and there, and I will see you next time.
You're never gonna make it, you're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible. Too many obstacles, you gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow, you can't be a pro.